Imagine tapping one sentence, just a product link, and make 10 ads, and getting back 10 finished, usable product images. Different hooks, different aspect ratios. That's not a mock-up. That actually happened. This is Higgsfield Supercomputer, first cloud-native AI agent built specifically for creatives. Image gen, video gen, ads, UGC pipelines. Think of it as Cursor, but for creative work instead of code. And here's the thing. You can swap the brain. GPT 5.5 Pro, Claude Opus 4.6, Sonnet, Gemini 3.1 Pro. Mid-conversation, without losing anything. The agent already knows how to write ad briefs, pick aspect ratios, route between models. You just talk to it. So let's break down what's actually happening under the hood. Every AI agent has 3 layers. The model, that's the brain. The harness, the wrapper of skills and tooling around it. And context, memory that persists between sessions. Supercomputer builds all 3 on purpose. Now, models are commoditizing. Every lab has a good one. But the harness, the system prompts, the creative skills, the retry logic, the checkpoint gates, that stuff is not commodity. That's where Higgsfield is actually competing. But here's where it gets interesting. Most creative AI tools lock you to one model. Midjourney is Midjourney. Runway is Runway. Supercomputer breaks that. You get 4 engines, right there in the chat, and you can rotate between them mid-conversation without losing project state. In testing, Opus 4.6 reasoned the hardest about ad structure. It picked distinct hooks, different scenes, varied aspect ratios across a 10-image batch. But it burns more credits per turn. Sonnet is your daily driver. Fast, cheap, solid. Save Opus for the big batches. Okay, this is the demo that made me sit up. You paste a product page link. You type, make 10 image ads for this product. That's it. No reference images, no style guide, no aspect ratio instructions. 1 sentence. Here's what the agent did on its own. It read the product page, pulled the description, photos, price, loaded an internal ad creative skill, picked 10 different hook concepts, 10 matching scenes. Then it distributed aspect ratios across the batch, square for grids, 9:16 for stories, 16:9 for desktop banners, all automatically. And the output? Honestly, usable. The fellow kettle is a notoriously hard shape to render, and the images came back clean enough to ship. That's the gap between a generative tool and a generative agent. The agent fills in the parts you used to have to write yourself. Now, once an image is generated, you pin it to the Composer panel. Think of it as an in-chat clipboard for assets. From there, tell the agent to animate it, restyle it, build a sequence. Composer items survive between turns and feed into every downstream skill. But here's the most underrated feature in the entire product. Before every generation that costs credits, Supercomputer pops a checkpoint. It shows you the model it's about to call, the aspect ratio, the resolution, the duration, and a live credit cost that updates as you toggle settings. Human in the loop, every single time. Why does this matter so much? Because agentic tools are dangerous. A typo or an over-eager model can drain your credits in seconds. 10 videos when you wanted 1. 1080p when 480p was fine. The checkpoint gate stops that cold. So let's talk video. Supercomputer routes video generation through 2 engines, Kling 3.0 and Seedance 2.0. And honestly, the reliability gap between them right now is pretty wide. Asked the agent to animate a pinned image with Kling 3.0. It spun up, hit the checkpoint, charged credits, and failed. The exact message? Attempt 1 with Kling 3.0 failed. That's it. No reason, no diagnostic, nothing you can act on. Here's the workaround. You tell the agent, if Kling fails, retry up to 3 times, then fall back to Seedance 2.0. It interprets that as a multi-turn plan. On the retry, Seedance worked first try. 916, 480p, 5 seconds, 15 credits. Clean animation. Always include that fallback line. Now here's where the agent pattern really flexes. Ask it to make a UGC-style talking head review of the kettle. No script, no context, just one prompt. And it auto-chained 4 different models. Soul.0 generated a believable presenter, face, hair, wardrobe. Opus 4.6 wrote the monologue in that natural, honest review voice. GPT Image 2 built storyboard frames at the right aspect ratio. And Seedance 2.0 animated the whole thing with lip sync. 4 models, 1 prompt, end to end. Is the output perfect? No. The presenter's hand clips through the kettle in 1 frame. The product morphs a little between cuts. Clear AI tells. But the workflow? A year ago, this was 3 contractors and a week of editing. Now, it's 1 sentence and a few minutes. Okay, so the generation stuff is impressive. But the actual moat? It's 2 features most people will scroll past. Memory and connectors. Memory lets you rat freeform preferences the agent remembers. I prefer orange and dark mode. My brand voice is direct and technical. Always default 916 for social. Every future prompt gets smarter because of what you've stored. Higgsfield says it'll autofill memory over time, but right now, most of it is manual entry. And connectors are basically MCP servers for creatives. Google Drive and Telegram work natively at launch. Slack, Notion, Gmail, Figma, community reports say they're live too. 30-plus apps total, accessible from right inside the chat. The agent lives in your workflow instead of beside it. All right, honesty time. The product is real. The demos hold up. But there's a polish gap, and if you're considering this for a team, you need to see it clearly. 5 things to know. Kling gives you 0 error info when it fails. Use the fallback prompt. Memory has no delete button and doesn't refresh in place. Character continuity drifts slightly between UGC frames. And credit costs aren't always surfaced before a skill loads. Every one of these has a workaround, but none of them should need one. Now the obvious question. How does this compare to Claude code? Because structurally, same pattern. Harness, skills, memory, integrations. But the domain is completely different. Supercomputer gives you 4 model engines, a composer panel, credit checkpoints, and creative skills, ads, UGC, cinema, marketing. Claude Code gives you anthropic models, file context, project rules, and coding skills, review, debug, test, refactor. They're not competing. They're the same pattern applied to 2 non-overlapping worlds. And honestly, the fact that both exist right now, day 1 of agents are the new product surface, that's the signal. Not which one is better. The signal is that the harness layer is where the next generation of tools gets built. Period. So, adopt or wait? 2 camps, 2 different answers. If you already pay for Higgsfield, adopt today. Supercomputer draws from your existing credit pool. The Composer Plus checkpoint flow alone replaces a handful of manual workflows. One-shot ad batches, UGC pipelines, model swapping. These are net new capabilities you don't get anywhere else on the platform. But if you're currently buying credits from WaveSpeed or FAL.ai or directly from model providers, wait. The value math doesn't work yet. Give it 2 release cycles. Memory UX, Kling error surfacing, connector stability. All of that needs a polish pass before the lock-in is justified. Either way, Supercomputer is the first real proof that the agent as creative tool pattern works. Rough edges? Yeah, definitely. But the core loop, one prompt, multiple models, finished output, that's not going backwards. This pattern only gets better from here. Full review with the bug workaround table is at PopularAiTools.ai. Link in the description. Hit subscribe if you want these deep dives every week.